Hello fellow collectors and welcome to Long's Toys. Today we are taking a look at Voyager class Thrust from Transformers Earthrise War for Cybertron trilogy. Now this guy is part of the Cybertronian villains. You can see down here you have the little emblem, very much like the other two Conehead Seekers before him. And while they were Amazon exclusives, this guy is a Target exclusive. I'm assuming because he's red, and that makes sense. They like to have red Transformers for their exclusives. But yeah, unfortunately, this guy's been fairly hard to come by, which I know is a bummer for a lot of people. Hopefully, they get some more out there. I think people are still finding them in stores off and on. I'm not 100% sure about that, but I had a friend help me out with this one, so shout out to Rye. Thank you so much. Collector Shuki on Twitter. For finding this one and sending it my way. I do appreciate it because I still have not seen one of these in person. But we do have some pretty cool packaging here. I love the kind of bluish green. That's the overall color scheme for the Earthrise boxes. And I know they're gone now because we're into Kingdom at this point. But you have some nice artwork here on the side of his jet mode. And then over here on the back, we have the robot mode and the jet mode, of course. And then on this side, we have that standard kind of Earthrise artwork that's on the side of every box. And then you do have that decoder thing. I really never bothered with that very much. I got to be honest. I usually just throw them out because I don't personally care. Oh, it does look like this guy got a little damaged when someone was probably opening the case. You can see there's a box cutter mark there on the top. I just noticed that. Luckily, I open these and I don't usually keep the packaging, so no harm done there. But there is that? No, for a second I thought that was supposed to be Unicron down there, but I think it's just a planet. Not Unicron, false alarm. Anyway, let's go ahead, let's get Thrust out of the packaging here, and we'll take a closer look. Here is Thrust out of the packaging, and he looks pretty good. Now, these wings do hang here on the back, and I guess that's technically how they are supposed to look. If you want to flip them around like the rest of the Seekers do, you can certainly do that. I kind of like the look of that better. I guess technically it's not correct or show accurate. I'm not really 100% sure. But if you do want to flip them around like that, you certainly can. Personally, I like the look of that better. But technically, I guess this is correct to just kind of have them hang here in the middle. I'll be honest, it's been a minute since I've seen Thrust on screen, so I'll have to pay special attention the next time I see him actually in the cartoon. So I'll leave them down there like that because that's technically what I believe is correct. But I do kind of like flipping them up like the rest of the Seekers, but that's just me. He does have these wing pieces here. Now, these are just pegged in. If you want, you really could just unpeg these. They're not in too terribly tight, and they kind of look like they're falling out, to be quite honest, but they just peg in there. And they've got little Decepticon symbols. Kind of hard to see because it's purple on black, but they are on there on both sides. There's the other one right there. You have some nice purple paint here on the knee pads. Otherwise, he's basically maroon and black. You have a little bit of translucent orange here for the canopy to break that up. The head sculpt looks pretty good. I like it. Nice silver paint for the face. The yellow eyes really pop. I think that looks good. And then, of course, again, maroon and black. You have a little bit of gold there on the top of... I'm not quite sure what these are called, so I'm going to call them his shoulder pylons. I don't know. Just go with it. In any case, you also have some little gunmetal gray here in the turbines. Again, you have some Decepticon symbols. Purple on black, so it's a little hard to see, but they are there. But yeah, I would say definitely maroon and black are his main color scheme choices. But he looks good. I mean, he looks the way he's supposed to. Let's get into articulation. So, of course, the head's on a ball joint, so you have some back and forth, some side to side. You can even rock a little bit side to side, not too terribly much, though. You have a hinge. I'm sorry, this is the hinge. This is the rotation in the shoulder. You have a bicep swivel there. You have 90 degrees there in the elbow. Nothing in the wrist. Let's see, do we have a waist swivel? No, we do have some pretty decent hips, though. Kick out to the side, kick forward if you lift up that front skirt. And then back, you kind of stop there because of the back skirt there. You do have a thigh swivel. You have 90 degrees in the elbow. And then you have an ankle tilt, as that is a custom now that I don't think they're going to be getting away from anytime soon. But yeah, he looks good. He looks good. He's got the guns here on the shoulder. Of course, you could take those off. If you wanted to hold it, you could certainly do so. You could peg them in some of the other places. He's got some ports around the body, so you can move those around. But of course, they are meant to go on the shoulder. But yeah, all in all, I like the look of them. I think the color scheme's a little basic, but overall pretty good. And I think the articulation's pretty great. And of course, we can't have a review of the last one without getting a group shot in here. All three of the cone heads all together again. I think they look great. They really did a nice job with them. Originally, I really wasn't going to re-buy these because I had the originals from back in Classics, and they were all in the deluxe size class, but I really do think they deserve to be Voyagers, and they did a pretty excellent job of scaling these. I do think it's funny how Thrust is the only one that kind of has these large wings here that would either go up like the Seekers have them, or kind of here in the middle, while the other two have the larger wings down here on the side of their legs. So I think that's kind of funny. But overall, like I said, I think they did a really nice job with these. All three look great, and having all three together looks really, really good. At this point, we've seen this transformation at least 5 times between the Seekers and the other two cone heads, so I'm going to go through it pretty quick here. We're going to go ahead and flip up the hand. We're going to open up the forearm on the top here. This little piece on the inside, let me zoom in so you can actually see it, in here is going to fit in this whole section right there. So feed that forward. That's going to fill that area right there. Then you're going to close this up, and there you go. Zoom back out. Do this again on the other arm. So flip this up, fold up that hand, fold this in. That will go there. There you go. That's all done. Come down to the feet. We'll fold the feet together like so. We're going to open this up. We're going to feed this in. Now you can see that there is a tab slot here, and then there is a tab right there. So you're going to bring this up and fold this in. I guess really we should probably peg the legs together first, as that will be easier. Then we can close that up and then come around here and just close that up. Because of the giant knee pads, it's not going to tuck underneath the front skirt like it does with the Seekers, so it's just going to lay over top like that. Then we're going to unclip the torso on the sides here like so. This is going to rock backwards. We're going to take the actual nose cone, not the fake nose cone for his head. Bring this over and just completely go over top of that head. Bring this up, swivel it around, bring it down, and click that into place like so. Then we're going to fold those arms in now that they are properly folded up. Close this up. This will clip back into place, and then you just kind of bring these wings down into place like so, and there you go. We have our jet mode. Now at this point you can take these and put them wherever you like. You could put them here, you could put them here, you could even peg them underneath. I kind of like putting them here. I guess it doesn't really make sense that they'd be mounted inside the turbines, but you could also put them here on the like side of what were his legs, because I feel like that kind of puts them at a nice spot. If you put them in what were the forearms, I feel like that sticks out too far. Well, actually, you know what? Maybe that's not bad. That's actually not bad. So all three, I think, are pretty good options. I think they all look pretty good. I think I'm going to stick with the turbines on the wings, just because I kind of like the look of that. But yeah, overall, it's a jet mode we've seen several times before, but obviously slightly remolded. The wings are a little different, and the back fins are different. But overall, I think he looks pretty good. So I think Thrust is pretty great. I mean, it's a mold we've seen several times before, but you're completing the second trilogy of Seekers, finishing off the cone heads, and I think he's definitely one you're going to want to add to your collection. One thing I did forget to mention earlier, he does have some play here in the wings. You can see there's a joint that he can move back and forth, so if you want a couple more posing options there for how you want to pose those wings on the back, I did want to point that out. But yeah, I mean, he's mostly maroon and black. That's his color scheme. He's got a little bit of silver and then randomly some purple to break up that color scheme, but I still think he looks good, and I'm glad to finally complete the Conehead trilogy. The original classics were pretty good. I do think they were good toys, but I think the upgrade from Deluxe to Voyager was a big deal for these guys, and I think these characters do deserve to be in the Voyager size class. I think it just makes a little bit more sense for kind of how the scale works in the show and everything like that. So if they're doing the like mini bots in Deluxes now, then the Deluxes need to become Voyagers, if that makes sense. But yeah, he looks good. It's a bummer that he was a Target exclusive. Usually for Transformers at least, I know the G.I. Joes have been a nightmare, but usually for Transformers at least, Target exclusives are not that hard. In recent memory, the Lightfoot for the movie line was not really that hard. I saw him a lot. And the Rainmaker 3-pack wasn't too bad either. But the Rainmakers just got to release it. Big Bad Toy Store, Entertainment Earth, some other online stores. So maybe there's some hope for Thrust. People who weren't able to get a hold of him, maybe they can. He'll have some new life on the online store circuit. I know even Red Wing, who was the previous Seeker that was in a Target exclusive, eventually got a re-release online a couple places. So hopefully, if you weren't able to get Thrust from Target in store, he'll make his rounds on the internet soon enough so that way you can complete your Conehead trio, because he's definitely one you're going to want to add to your collection. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Please like, share, and subscribe. Hope you guys enjoyed the video, and as always, thanks so much for watching.